Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Happy Friday, it's September 26th. As Corpus Christi examines options for its future water supply, one more concern has now been brought up. According to a new report, 13 contaminants were detected in the city's drinking water. 10 of those are linked to cancer. KIII reports the nonprofit Environmental Working Group analyzed local water data from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Sydney Evans, a senior science analyst with the group, said the report reveals cancer-causing agents, mostly carcinogens, which are byproducts of disinfectants used to keep pathogens out of water systems.
We're looking at long-term trends. We really want to know at these concentrations, if you're drinking this water over a lifetime, how is it affecting your risk for these health effects, right? We're not looking at what might make people sick tomorrow.
That was Evans speaking with KIII. City officials have commented on the report, pointed to Corpus Christi Water's consistent designation as a superior public water system as of the latest 2024 annual water quality report. The report states that the city exceeds all federal and state water quality standards. The Environmental Working Group recommends that residents use an at-home filtration system to reduce exposure to the contaminants. The City of Corpus Christi's Auditor's Office failed its external peer review back in May. KIII reported the findings, which examined office work from January of 2021 through December of 2023. The report concluded that the office's quality control system was, quote, not adequately designed and was not operating effectively, end quote. The review was conducted under the Association of Local Government Auditors guidelines by Ty Elliott, City Auditor for College Station, and Joseph Listano, City Auditor for Mesa, Arizona. In their report, both reviewers pointed out several deficiencies, including failure to properly document threats to auditor independence, insufficient professional skepticism during audits, inadequate staff training, and weak oversight by office leadership. Tejano music star Bobby Pulido made a stop in Mathis last night on his campaign trail. The five-time Latin Grammy nominee dropped by the Salito Lindo Dance Hall in Mathis as part of his campaign for Texas' 15th congressional district. Pulido, a singer and Edinburgh native with 3 decades worth of Tejano music, could take on Representative Monica de la Cruz, Republican Edinburgh, but first he will face a primary election against Ada Cuellar, a Harlingen emergency physician unrelated to Representative Henry Cuellar, Democrat Laredo. The 15th congressional district stretches from McAllen into central Texas. Meanwhile, Democrat James Tallarico spoke to voters in Victoria this week. Earlier this month, he announced his candidacy for the 2026 U.S. Senate race in Texas. Tallarico represents Texas House District 50 and currently serves on the House's Public Education Committee, Calendars Committee, and Juvenile Justice and Family Issues Committee. During a stop in Victoria, Tallarico highlighted issues including affordable housing, stronger public education, and expanded access to health care. He also mentioned his family history in Port Lavaca and surrounding areas of the Crossroads region. In state news, Dallas area advocacy groups held a vigil last night for victims of this week's shooting at an ICE field office. KERA's Dylan Duke reports organizers are calling on ICE to reform how it handles detainees after one was killed and 2 others injured in the attack.
The vigil took place outside Parkland Hospital, where organizers believe one of the victims is being treated. Azel Alvarez is a member of the immigrant rights group El Movimiento DFW. He said there's a lot of fear in the immigrant community after the shooting.
And it's important that we shine a light on what's happening in Dallas and everywhere throughout the U.S.
He said ICE should be more transparent and give information about who the victims are. Federal investigators say the suspected shooter planned the attack for months and was targeting ICE officers. I'm Dylan Duke in Dallas.
One man climbed up the cables of the New Harbor Bridge this past Wednesday. Corpus Christi police confirmed the man was experiencing a mental health crisis as he made his way onto the bridge's cables more than 100 feet above traffic. Law enforcement temporarily shut down traffic while rescue crews worked to bring him down safely. After several hours, first responders were able to do so. He was taken to a hospital for evaluation. Police said no criminal charges will be filed. It's still unclear how he climbed the cable of the bridge. The city of Starbase will work with Cameron County to restore the sand dunes at Boca Chica Beach. City officials announced the city secured the county's permission to move forward with its renourishment project. The county's agreement comes with some restrictions. Starbase won't be allowed to seek the same funding for the project. The city also won't be allowed to restrict public access to the beach. KRGV reports the city verbally agreed to the terms during a recent Cameron County Commissioners Court meeting. Starbase leaders were set to approve the county's terms for the agreement at a meeting yesterday. Earlier this week, Texas A&M Corpus Christi's Autonomous Research Institute held a public demonstration of its autonomous drone program. Spencer Chioc has your story.
The first demonstration of the Autonomy Research Institute's Cirrus took place Wednesday at the Texas State Aquarium in Corpus Christi for a crowd of key stakeholders. Cirrus integrates and combines multiple sensors and airspace tools into a single picture that is used by crews and operations personnel to monitor the national airspace. The demonstration used more than 20 aircraft, some simulated, across the coastal bend. This comes after Texas A&M Corpus Christi was selected by the FAA to lead the integration of unmanned drones into the national airspace system this past spring.
Autonomy can be broken down into seeing, sensing, thinking, and then acting. Now, how you do that, how do you make sure it's all safe, that's kind of the secret sauce that we are looking at.
That was ARI Executive Director Michael Sanders. At the event, 2 stage scenarios were introduced. The first simulated a stunned sea turtle floating in Corpus Christi Bay, a common occurrence with recent severe cold weather events.
So what that really is how do I detect the change in a pattern? And that involves a sensor. And so that's really what we were demonstrating was, can the sensor detect the change? We can do it with a human. How do we then replace the human with machine, which is actually more accurate, doesn't get tired, and you can add a degree of certainty to what you're seeing.
The drone took off from North Beach and after scanning the area of interest for about 4 minutes, successfully found the 3D printed turtle.
So even if all we do is take 100 miles of seashore that in the past a human had to either look at or ride in a boat and say, don't worry about these 95, here are the 5 miles where we think most of the turtles are, you can now concentrate your assets, your scarce resources on 5 miles instead of 100.
4 more tests were successfully executed, including a drone scouting a fire. The tests will continue for the ARI as it continues to educate and advance the AI, with the eventual goal of syncing the drones into the NAS. For KEDT News, I'm Spencer Chioc.
When a loved one dies, it's common to wish for just one more chance to talk with them. The solution may lie in a disconnected rotary phone. They're called wind phones, and they're popping up across the United States, all aiming to give the grieving another opportunity to speak with those they've lost. KERA Arts reporter Marquita Fornoff visited a wind phone in Arlington and brings us this report.
There's a wooden hutch in Arlington's Bowman Springs Park that looks kind of like a little free library. Inside the box, there's a vintage rotary phone. It's disconnected, but anyone can pick it up and use it to talk to a loved one. It's called a wind phone.
You have to make an effort to kind of walk back there and be like, what is this strange box hanging out over here?
That's Karen Kleeman. It was her idea to put a wind phone here in the park to honor her friends. She was inspired by a man named Utaro Sasaki. He made the first wind phone in Japan in 2010 after his cousin died. He set up an old English phone booth in his garden overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Here's Sasaki, translated by This American Life's Mickey Meek.
He's
saying, because my thoughts could not be relayed over a regular phone line, I wanted them to be carried on the wind.
When a tsunami hit the country a year later, people flocked to the phone. Now there are wind phones all over the world, including the one in Arlington. Kleeman recently dropped by after work. Someone had left a huge abalone shell. Nearby, a note written in a childish scrawl says, "I feel sorry for you."
I just think that's fabulous, right? They've come, they've seen our people, and they've talked to their people. So that was the purpose.
2 of Kleeman's people were family members of her good friend Julie Compton. The 2 women have been through a lot together. Compton's family was there for Kleeman during her divorce, and Kleeman was there when Compton's son Chance died by suicide, and later, her husband David died of lung disease. Compton hopes that the wind phone can help facilitate conversations about grief and death.
As a society, we're kind of weird about death, you know, and really weird about suicide. It's gotten better, but that people don't want to speak of it.
Compton is grateful her friend wanted to memorialize her son and husband.
Because a lot of people I'm friends with today don't know Chance. I'm going to cry. They didn't know David. And so it just really touched me.
The idea of talking into a wind phone may sound odd, but it makes sense to Amy Dawson. She runs mywindphone.com, which maps out wind phone locations around the world.
I think it's just such a normal thing we call our person, right? I think it's just a very normal thing we do every day that it feels comfortable and it feels like a way you can connect.
Kleeman notices the way she talked to her loved ones has changed with time.
It was at first like, what on earth? Why did you do this? And, where have you gone and why aren't you here?
Her feelings have evolved.
And then it was, here's what happened today. And I so thought of you when we did this or something like that. So, but I'm glad it's there. And I'm glad people are using it.
Compton is too. The phone helps keep her husband and her son's memories alive.
The saying that people die twice. They die when they die, and then they die the last time somebody says their name.
She hopes others find comfort as the wind carries messages to their loved ones, too. I'm Marquita Fornoff in Arlington.
This weekend, Rio Fest kicks off 2 days of music and festivities beginning today at the Harlingen baseball field. The festival will feature live music by the Randy Rogers Band and Signo, along with tributes to Morgan Wallen, Lainey Wilson, and more. Event goers can also check out a Mexican artisan market, food trucks, art gallery, 5K run, and a carnival. And in sports, tonight, the Corpus Christi Ice Rays are in action on the road as they take on the Danbury Hat-Tricks in Minneapolis. Tomorrow night is college football as Texas A&M Kingsville seeks their first Lone Star Conference win this season. They'll face Sul Ross State in Alpine. And undefeated UTRGV football kicks off Southland Conference play against Southeastern Louisiana. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.